Apparently, not just the wealthy talk about prenuptial agreements, too.
Yeah, and I think the word has also been gendered for a long time, thinking, the man has to protect his money. But, tables have turned now, and it goes both ways. It's a different story today, especially among younger Americans. According to a Harris poll, 47% of millennials who are engaged or have been married say that they have a prenup.
Yeah, compare that to 41% of Gen Z polled who have also entered into a prenup at their young age. Why in the world are younger and younger people doing all this? We're going to answer the question of why it's even considered positive with New York Post reporter Asia Grace. Hi, Asia. I had my first question when I thought of this story was, what in the world are millennials protecting? What assets do they have? I mean, they're not billionaires by and large.
No, we're not billionaires, but we do not play when it comes to money matters. And I think that, let me tell you, we are making sure that we're putting these prenuptial agreements in place so that way when we are done with the marriage, anything we come in with is protected and it's divided peacefully and not sleazily. And you have to really remember that we are the generation, us millennials and the Gen Zs, we're really big entrepreneurs. We're in the influencer space. So a lot of times we're now walking into these relationships with brands, with sponsorship deals, with ambassador deals. There's a reason to protect what we're coming into, and we want to make sure that it's not necessarily kept from our partner, but it's definitely agreed upon how things will go in the case of death or divorce, which is really the only two ways marriages end.
Yeah, self-protect. Exactly.
To be clear. D&D.
You bring up divorce, Asia. Studies show that 40% of marriages now end in divorce. So how has this so-called high turnover rate, if you will, influenced how millennials approach their marriage?
Well, a lot of us unfortunately saw our parents go through messy divorces, messy breakups, and there was a fight about who got the house, who got the money, who got the family Bible. We want to avoid that drama. We saw it. We don't like it. No, thank you. Also, being a millennial is being influenced by celebrity culture. And we know that our favorites now, the Britney Spearses, the Joe Jonases and Sophie Turners, Jeezy, Ariana Grande, the list goes on. So many people are now staring in the face of divorce, and they are making these decisions about their prenuptial agreements, reportedly trying to enforce some of them to ensure that their assets and their partner's assets are protected. So there's a number of things, but one of the most major things that I have yet to mention is the historically horrific debt that we as millennials are facing due to the student loan drama that we're dealing with. And nothing says I love you, babe, like let me protect you from my debt and let me protect myself from yours by signing this prenup saying that if whatever happens, you take care of your bills, I take care of my bills. And even for those who didn't go to school, you might come across some medical issues at some point. Yeah. And if you unfortunately lose your life during that battle, you don't want your partner to be stuck with hundreds of thousands of medical bills. So it definitely sets a lot in place and keeps everyone safe, even your parents, siblings, children from previous marriages or that marriage. You want to make sure that everything is allocated in a way you want and not how the government wants. Because if you don't put a prenup in place, the government, your state, they'll make the decision for you.
Can I just make one little point that could be all addressed in a living will? However, and I know that it addresses death, not the divorce word, but do you think that millennials as a generation have lost the sight of what love is, or lost the hope of true love to some degree because these prenups are being discussed? Is that a symptom of the lack of desire for a traditional love story?
I'm not going to say we're not jaded and we have not been affected by the things we see in the dating apps. I can go on and on about that.
Yes,
however,
girl.
I don't think that in putting a prenup in place does not speak to distrust in the relationship or your partner or the faith that you have in the marriage that it'll work. It's really just a safety net. It's like when you get car insurance, you don't expect to have a terrible accident, but you want to have something in place to say, if and when this is what I want to happen, this is what I think is best. And it's something that your partner agrees to. It's not something you're doing on your own. You guys sit down. You have the tough discussion.
It's a
right. And if you can't have a tough discussion,
it has to be
mutual before you get engaged.
Thank you, Asia Grace.
Good to see you. We'll talk soon.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.